Today's coding challenge is inspired by Twitter, where something that I noticed on my timeline is that each tweet tells you how long ago it was posted. So that was 51 minutes ago, this was an hour ago, and if you get to where it's been more than a day, then it just has the date displayed, like this guy here, 13th of November 2017. So our task is to write a function that will take in a date as a parameter and then output one of those options. So here's some examples. And I'll have to update this when we run the test so that it's less than a minute ago. But if it's been less than a minute, we want it to output now. If it's been a few minutes, we want it to tell us how many minutes it's been, like 16M. Same thing with the hours. And then if it's been more than a day, we want it to output the date in these formats. And the first thing that I want to think about is this information is being stored in a database. Those tweets are in a database somewhere. So this date information is probably going to come in as a string. So the first thing I want to do is create a date object based on that string so that we can use the built-in JavaScript date functions. So I can call it tweet date, be a new date. We're going to pass in date. And then we're going to do the same thing for day. So what we want to do is calculate the difference in time between these two dates, today versus the day the tweet was posted. And there's a built-in JavaScript function called getTime that tells us how many milliseconds it has been since January 1st, 1970. So let's use that. So tweet date seconds is equal to tweet date.getTime. And rather than keeping track of the milliseconds, I want to keep track of how many seconds it's been. So I'm going to divide it by 1,000. And that can result in some decimal places. So I'm going to use math.floor to ignore any trailing milliseconds. I just want to get an even round number of how many seconds it's been. And I'm going to do the same thing for today. So today seconds will equal today.getTime divided by 1,000. And then the difference is today seconds minus the tweet date seconds. That'll tell us how many seconds elapsed since when the tweet was posted until today. Okay, so now we know how many seconds it's been. So now we need to figure out how to format it, the value that we're going to return. So I'm going to create some variables just to make our lives easy. So we have minutes is 60 seconds, an hour 60 times 60. Okay, so now we know how many seconds are in each of those. And if the difference in time is less than a minute, we just want to return the word now. Okay, that one's pretty simple. If it's been a few minutes but less than an hour, then we want to tell it how many minutes it's been. So let's think about this. Let's say it's been 189 seconds. That's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. What we want to do, though, is just get the number 3 out of that. So if we do difference divided by how many minutes it's been, that'll give us the number 3, but it'll have some decimal places for those extra seconds. So we're going to do math.floor again. And that'll tell us exactly, well, not exactly, rather, it'll tell us an even round number of minutes that it's been, and then we can return it with the letter M. So if it's been 3 minutes, it'll have 3M. And then we're going to do the same thing. If it's been less than a day, we want to tell it how many hours it's been. And if it's been more than a day, then we want to return the date in this format, 5th of January 2016, something like that. So what we want to do here is we can use some built-in JavaScript functions to get the day, month, and year. And so for instance, day of month would equal tweetDate.getDate. The month will be tweetDate.getMonth. And this actually returns a 0-based index. So January would return the number 0 here. And that's okay, we can work with that. And let the year equal tweetDate.getFullYear. Okay, so now we have the day, month, and year. And what we want to do is we want to convert this number that it gives us into a January or a December, something like that. So I'm actually going to create a new function called convertMonth. And this is going to take a number in depicting which month it is. So if we get the number 0, we want to return January. So months, we could just create an array. And this will have each of the months in it. let's see, I mistyped this one. And here's what I'm thinking, right? Let's say it is January. We're going to get the number 0, and we have January at index 0. So we can just return whatever index it passes us, and that'll give us the correct month. So I'm going to finish filling these out. And for June and July, I'm just going to do all 4 letters here. September, October. Okay. So now we have our array, and this will return this format based on a number that's passed in. Okay, so that's great. So instead of using this number, let's use our function and pass that number in as the parameter. So this should get us what we want, Jan, Feb, Mar, those kinds of things. And then we can just return, let's see, it had the day of the month first, day of the month, and then it had the month, and then it had the year. Okay, so let's give it a shot. I have these examples set up already. So where I'm at, it is 8:29, and Replit servers follow the beat of their own drum. So we're going to go 3:29, and date number 1, and it should say now, and it does. Awesome. Date number 2 is less than an hour ago, so it'll say 42M. Perfect. Date number 3 has been a few hours. There we go, 4H. Date number 4, and it should do 17 DEC 2017. Beautiful. And date number 5, one more test. There we go. Sweet. So that is one way to write the function that Twitter's using to figure out how long it's been since each tweet was posted. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.